Hey guys, Mark here. In this video, I'm going to be going over how I made $639,000 in the last 90 days with a branded dropshipping store. And, the reason I'm making this video is because I see so much stuff out there of gurus, of YouTube videos, Reddit posts, and everybody's kind of saying the same recycled information, and nobody's really innovating in the space. Nobody's doing anything different. And my philosophy when it comes to e-commerce, Shopify, dropshipping, it's very different. And I actually have a lot of friends in the space that think I'm pretty stupid for the strategy that I have because it's very counterintuitive. But in this video, I want to actually go through what that strategy is, show you how it's worked, relatively well for me, and kind of show some results behind it. Because at the end of the day, if you want to get uncommon results, you have to do uncommon things. That's always been my philosophy. And so, when everybody is zigging, you want to be zagging. And so I just got this store open here that I've been running. And as you can see, just give it a little refresh here. Last 90 days, done $639,000 in sales. Past 30 days, I can show you guys as well. So you can kind of see all the information here. So we're doing around, $245,000 per month, but it's very consistent. As you can see, there's not a lot of day-to-day fluctuations too badly. So yeah, this video is basically just to, be an open book and show you my philosophy when it comes to starting an e-commerce store from scratch and how to make it as profitable as possible. Okay, so anytime that you search on YouTube, search on Google, and you want to find how to get success quickly, everybody says the same thing. Like I said, they're pretty much telling you, all right, you want to get some ad spy tool. You want to go look at, what's working, find a winning product before anybody else, blah, blah, blah. And that's never really been my strategy. In fact, I kind of believe the opposite. I actually go after products that are really saturated. And so I could show you some of the products that I've personally sold. That's not the purpose of this video, but it would be no shock to you. You'd be like, oh, I've seen this product before. This is nothing new. This is nothing special. How is he being so successful with it and getting these numbers and making this money? And that's kind of why I wanted to make this video. So let's just say like the standard, Shopify dropshipping strategy is as follows. You go to a spy tool like AdSpy or Mynea or anything like that. You find something that's working and you try to steal it and do what everybody else is doing. Set up a standard Shopify store, pay somebody on Fiverr to make some ads for you, and then just like put some Facebook ads behind it and see how well it does. And I've never really been a fan of that. Like I said, I've been in this industry since 2018. That's when I first started my, my first dropshipping store like 6 years ago. And everybody is still teaching the same concepts. And so if you're following the strategies that have been working for 6 years, it's safe to say that things have changed. And it's very safe to say that things have changed like a stupid amount. So my strategy is very different. Like I said, you kind of have two lines of thinking when it comes to dropshipping. You have what's called a blue ocean strategy, where you're trying to find a product that nobody else is selling. You try to find something that you think has potential, and you're just trying to beat people to the curve. And you're trying to be the first one to sell that product, or at least one of the first people. And like, as long as you find the winning product, just find the winning product. And that's not my strategy at all. And I'm not saying that you should use my strategy in this case. I'm just going to show you what I've personally done and my philosophy. So instead of going after products that are, really, really saturated, I know people love using that word. I like to go after products that is already proven to be selling right now, because I don't actually really believe in winning products at all. And that's where most people would step in and be like, whoa, Mark, come on, man. Like, how can you make money if like you don't have a good product? Well, I'm not saying I don't have a good product. I'm saying I find products that people are already selling at scale. Because you have to understand, like with dropshipping, there's different scales to products that you're testing. You could find a winner that other people are scaling, and the numbers are all relative. So like a winning product, in my mind, is something that has done at least multi 8 figures in sales. That's at least like $10 to $20 million in sales. And so those are the products that I really want to go after. The concept that I want to introduce to you in this video is the idea of having a competitive advantage. So what most people do when it comes to dropshipping is they will simply try to compete on the product. And that's like one of the most difficult things to compete on, because I fucking hate to tell you, but you're not going to be first. You're not going to be the first one to finding this product. Do you really think, like, look at how big the dropshipping industry is. Look at how many people have gotten into this game over the past 6 years. And you're just never going to be first to a winning product. So why compete on it? Why try to compete on the winning product when there are other things that you can compete on to still make a lot of money? So what I do is I want to keep my variables as low as possible. I don't want the product to be a variable. There's already so much that goes into dropshipping. I don't want the product to be an additional variable that I have to worry about. So what I'll do is actually search for products that are already selling like a stupid amount of volume, find a lot of competitors, and just find a way that I can differentiate myself and compete on something else, i.e. compete on marketing. So like I said, most people are doing the exact same thing. They open up a standard Shopify store, they pick the best theme that they can, maybe write some mid copy with ChatGPT, throw it up, and then they wonder why they're not a millionaire overnight. That's not the strategy that you should really be running with. Again, it's all just like my opinion. If you want to follow it, go for it. If not, I don't care. But instead, why not compete on something that nobody else is really doing? Okay, so let me kind of show you my thought process for finding a product and scaling it, competing on marketing instead of competing on the product. So one of my favorite strategies is to go to weather.com or any other like really popular news or weather websites and scroll to the sponsored post section. So in this case, if I were to scroll all the way down on weather.com, you'll have this section down here called sponsored content. And you want to scroll past like, these monstrous companies like Southwest and go to this section right here. And as you can see, a lot of these products actually are like, you'll see them and be like, yeah, I've seen that product before. Why would I sell it? There's already so many people selling it. There's already so much competition. That's the difference between me and 99% of people that are still dropshipping to this day. They are like, that is not the product for me. And so these ads under the sponsored content section, these are called native ads. And native ads are a very high reach type of ads. When you're running ads on native, your CPMs can be like $3 to $5, $5 to $10 in the US. Whereas if you were to run like the same product just on standard Facebook ads, your CPMs will be $20, $30 plus, like at an absolute minimum. Especially now during Q4, the CPMs are just going to be even higher. And so what I'll do is I'll go and find a product that actually is just selling like absolute hotcakes, right? So the way that I'll know that the product is actually validated and selling is I'll click on something like this, and then I'll just simply open, SimilarWeb. Let me find kind of a better example here of a good product. I'll simply open, a website like this. This is like a, skincare company, and I'll look at the SimilarWeb. And SimilarWeb is just something that tracks the number of unique users that a website is getting every single month. So these guys are getting, they got 40,000 visitors in July, they got 15,000 in August, and they got 30,000 in September. So for me, this would be like not enough. For a lot of people, this means they're spending at least like, it's a little bit hard to tell, but at least like $30,000 to $50,000 a month on ads, I would just kind of guess. And in this case, this is not something that I want. I want to find something that is getting at least like 200,000 to 300,000 visitors per month. That means that they're spending, again, it's kind of hard to tell, but I would estimate like $300,000 to $500,000 per month just spending in ads. And if they're spending that amount of money in ads, you know that they are probably generating a lot of revenue. And of course, there's a little assumption there, but all I really care about is the validation. Is this product actually validated? Is it actually selling? And like I said, going to simply the sponsored post section in a website like this is one of my favorite ways to do that. And so let's say that you do find a product, and I watch this video sales letter here and I find the product. What I'll do is I'll go and create a completely new website, a completely new store, and actually build a funnel around that one product. Instead of building like a general store, or instead of building a niche store, I build a funnel around one product. So let me kind of explain the difference between running a funnel versus running just a standard Shopify store, because this is such a crucial mistake that so many people make, and it like makes me want to bang my head against the ground every time that I hear people do this. So what most people do is they have, let me zoom in a little bit here. So what most people do is they have an ad, like on Facebook, for example. The ad will drive to a Shopify product page, and then they'll go ahead and purchase, and then that's kind of it, right? Maybe you have like an in-cart upsell right here, or like a bump, but that's mostly it. And so all you're really competing on is your creative and your product, most importantly, your product. And so the problem with this is that there's so many people probably already selling the product that you're going after. And so kind of my philosophy and what I like to do instead is, it doesn't really matter the ad platform that you're running, by the way. Like all products typically are going to function a little bit differently depending on the platform, but my specialty is Facebook ads. So that's the majority of what I run on. I'll go and find a product like, this one. Let's say in this case, this store here was actually getting like over 200,000 to 300,000 visitors per month. Is after I find the product, I'm going to build a funnel around the product instead of just like a standard, kind of Shopify store funnel. So what that looks like is we'll still have kind of a same ad, but this ad is actually going to be driving people instead of to like a Shopify product page. I'll build a whole funnel on, what I like to use is a software called Funnelish or another software called Checkout Champ. And the reason that I don't use Shopify is because Shopify really, really limits you on your customization of your funnel. So when people get into dropshipping, they have this weird belief that you have to be profitable by just getting somebody to buy one product from you. I can't even tell you how difficult that is to do in 2024. That worked in 2018. That worked in 2020. I mean, to be honest with you, it still works now, but it's just so freaking hard. And why, like I said earlier, why add another variable to the equation? It's already hard to be successful with ads. Why would you compete on the product as well? Like, why not just compete on the funnel and on economics? And so that's kind of what I wanted to walk you through here. So if this was like the Facebook ad here, instead of going to a Shopify page, I'll actually send them to a pre-sale page. And the pre-sale page, the whole point is to make this funnel very, very top of funnel. So when you're running like this model right here, an average, like if you're pretty good at running ads, you could get a click-through rate of like 3%. So that means out of 100 people that see your ad on Facebook, only 3 are actually going to go through. And then once again, if you have like, this is good metrics, by the way, like if you have a 3% conversion rate, that's another 97% of this 97% that is actually going to convert and actually buy your product. So like just economically from day one, you're basically screwing yourself. You're making it so freaking hard to be profitable, and you're never really going to have like monstrous scale. And by the way, the reason that I know this is, again, because I just like to question what everybody else is doing. If everybody is running in one direction, it's probably a good idea just to run in the opposite direction. At the very least, like you can just test it out and see what happens. And that's what I did initially, right? So instead of doing, this model here where you're kind of just screwing yourself on day one economically, just making it so hard for yourself to be profitable, what I like to do is basically send people to an ad that's very top of funnel. So instead of an ad here, for example, that's all about like the product, like, oh, check out this awesome product that I have, buy my product. I like to warm people up, right? It's kind of like if you were to, if you're with like a woman and you just go like, somebody that you met on like a first date, and the first thing that you say to the girl is like, hey, do you want to go back to my place and have sex? She'd be like, that's disgusting. You're a creep. I'm out of here. And so it's kind of the same concept with marketing to your customers. If you just go and put an offer right in front of their face without putting them in a, in a problem state, in a solution state, building awareness, building desire, building trust, then you're just, like I said, you're just screwed from day one. So what I like to do is have like an ad right here that's very, very top of funnel. So it's not an ad that's actually selling the product. It's simply selling an idea. It's selling a concept and putting them in the problem state. So let's take like just a standard product that people have scaled like absolute crazy, like a posture corrector, for example. So posture corrector, that's like what most people would consider a winning product. I've seen people running that since like 2017, 2018, and just made a killing with this model. If you try to do that today, like you have to be so freaking good to run with a funnel like this. But I could make that exact product work with a funnel like this. And I've done this over and over again, multiple times. So I'll find the product, I'll check that box that it's actually selling. It's getting 200,000 to 300,000 visitors per month on SimilarWeb. Then I'll build this new funnel. So the ad is selling people, in this case, on the idea of that the root cause of like their posture, for example, is so what I'll do is I'll basically take like the root cause of the problem for this particular product that we're solving. In this case, is just like poor posture, right? So a lot of people have poor posture from sitting at their desk all day, and I want to put them in that problem state before I fill that that solution with my product. That's the difference between these two methods. This one, you're just going straight for the solution state, and this one, you're putting them in a problem state. The reason why this method is so much better is because you can control exactly the way that people think about your product and the problem that they have themselves. And so the pre-sale page that I'll have here is, most commonly I like to use what's called an advertorial. And in advertorials, I can kind of show you like a quick example here in this video. It's a page that isn't actively selling your product, but it's positioning your store and your product as an authority before you actually sell it. So you can kind of think of this as, kind of warming up your product, or like in the case of like with women, it's basically like the equivalent of like foreplay. And so like if you remove that, it's just going to be really hard for you to actually get play, like if that makes sense. So from the ad, it'll go to a pre-sale page. And at this point, I now have them in a problem state that I've designed, and then put them in the solution state. And that solution state is selling the product. So after here, instead of sending them like to just a standard Shopify product page, I'll send them to what's called just a standard VSL page. VSL stands for, it stands for video sales letter. Oh my Lord. It stands for video sales letter. And this is actually a sales video that I put together, I write. And once again, I control everything here. There's nothing else on this page except for a video. And so after people go through and actually watch the video, the next thing they're going to be taken to is like the sales page and the order page. And then they can actually purchase from there. So let's say like this is a sales page, and then next is going to be the order page, right? And that's where they can actually purchase. Notice like this is a very counterintuitive process because everybody has to go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hoops before they can actually buy. I know you're thinking like, why is that like better? Doesn't it make sense to like remove the friction and have fewer steps? Well, not always, because while you have up here, let's say like a 3% click-through rate on your ad, if you're running like a very, very broad advertorial and running traffic to an advertorial like this pre-sale page here, you oftentimes can get click-through rates that are significantly higher than 3%. So instead of like 3 people out of 100 clicking on your ad, you can get 7 or 8% click-through rates. I've had ads that I personally ran myself that are 10% click-through rates. And these click-through rates are then going to send people to this pre-sale page. Now, the only time that this really works, like let's say, again, 10% click-through rate. Now, the only time that this method really works is A, if you're like relatively good at writing copy, and B, you know how to assemble a funnel. Those are like some prerequisites. And that's why I don't recommend this to everybody starting out, because it is a little bit more complex, but like it can make you so much more money, and every customer is worth so much more, as I'm going to show you in just one second. So like I said, instead of 3 people clicking through, you have 10 clicking through out of 100. And then from here, you're still going to have drop off at every step, like from here to here, from here to here, here to here, and even to the order page. But just think about this. By the time that people actually get to the order page, they are so emotionally bought in that instead of selling a product for, like in this case, like let's say you sell a product for like, $50, right? I can sell a product on the front end of the offer, like not even any upsells included. I can sell a product for $97, $147, even like $197 just on that first purchase. So let's say, like, just for example purposes, I'm selling a product that's $97 here. And so here is where I actually capture the payment. So the power that this model gives you is that you can charge so much more upfront, and immediately every customer that you have coming through is so much more valuable. Okay, so while on the surface it doesn't really make logical sense because you're adding steps, you're warming people up so that by the time that people actually get to an order page, or if like this is your order page, you don't have to run with this exact structure, by the way. It's just so in the example that I'm giving you here, people are really, really bought in. They're super bought in. And so this is where things really get fun and where you're really able to scale. A lot of people, after they capture that first purchase, they're just done, right? Like in this example, there's nothing after here that they really do. Especially with Shopify, the upsell capabilities are super, super limited. And so what I love to do is build out a funnel like this where you can compete on funnel and on marketing. So I can have very unique ads that get extremely high click-through rates. I can use these next, 2 or 3 steps to put people in a problem state and a solution state afterwards, so that by the time they actually get here, they're ready to buy. Now, like I said, most people will stop like right here, but that's not where I stop. I continue going. And right after they see the $97 product, they're immediately shown a new upsell page. And so this upsell page, typically I like to run with like another VSL and another video sales letter here. And here's a really, really cool part. At this point, you did all the hard work. All the hard work is done. You have a customer, they're worth a lot more money. Now you get to really play around and increase your average order value. by having a really strategic upsell path. And so in this case, we have just like a VSL right after they purchase for an additional product. So this is the most powerful step in the entire funnel. Like you would think like the hard work is all done right here. That's really not the case, because in this case, we still only have like a $97 customer. What if we had a $200 customer? What if we had a $300 customer? Like imagine if every time that you got a customer, like let's say your CPA, right, your cost per acquisition on Facebook is $100. So immediately with this funnel, you're losing $50 for every single customer. And like, this is what all the noobs do. And this is what all the people who are kind of new into dropshipping do, because that's what like all these big famous gurus tell you to do. But that's not the best way to do it. Again, this is all just like opinion. This is just what I believe to be true. And based off of the friends that I know that are running like, you know, brands that are doing like 8 figures per month, like this is exactly what they're doing. So I kind of have an inside look. Now, this step right here, like the first real upsell post-purchase, is where you have the most amount of what's called price velocity. And so, I'm sorry, not velocity, it's called price elasticity. And so this is where you can charge even up to like $200 or $300 just for the singular upsell. And even if you have 10% of the people that take this offer, you know, it's not a whole lot. If this is a $300 offer, you just added $30 to your AOV. So instead of it being 100, I'm just going to round up for example purposes, like your new AOV is now 130. So you're saying, okay, Mark, well, what about the other 90% of people that say no to this offer? So let's say like this is yes. And at this point, they go to the thank you page, right? If they say no, you can immediately downsell them to the exact same product for 50% off. And let's say another 10% of people take that. So that's 10% of, 50% off product. Let's say we sell a $300 product here in this example. So we downsell it for $150 and 10% of the people take that. So that's another $15 to your AOV. Immediately, you're now up to $145. So this economically is easy to scale, okay? Because while this method right over here, you're trying to compete on, $100 CPA and $50 product. You're losing $50 for every single customer that comes in. Here, you're basically making $50 for every single customer that comes in. And the beauty about this is you can add an additional upsell, another upsell. You can add a downsell. You can have email and SMS post-purchase that sends people to the upsell page, like here, and here. And you can really start to like create some really, really cool stuff that every single time you want to get more offers in front of your customer. So this is the ultimate mistake that this funnel makes. This like main thing that 99% of people are doing is they're essentially just trying to put one offer in front of their customers. You did the hard work. You got the customers. Like it's not enough to just have a little like, in-cart upsell or one tiny little upsell post-purchase. No, it's not enough. Here, we're building up so much more desire. And then as soon as we have that customer, they're in this very high emotional state, right? So the post-purchase anxiety that people get when they buy, it doesn't go away after they purchase. It actually stays for around 24 hours typically. And so you can take advantage of that simply by getting more offers in front of people and offering them additional products on the first upsell page, for example, and then downsell them and another upsell, another downsell. So the moral of the story here is for every customer that you get, you want to make the most out of them. Like especially now with Q4, with Facebook being super crazy, with all the ad platforms getting more expensive by the day, you simply cannot compete in 2024 if you're doing the same thing as everybody else and just trying to put one offer in front of your customers. After you have a customer and they're all warmed up and they're in this highly emotional state, you do want to put more offers in front of their face. You want to upsell, you want to downsell, you want to cross-sell, you want to add volume discounts, you want to add bumps. And like I said, I build all of this inside of Funnelish and inside of Checkout Champ. So those are the softwares that I really enjoy using because of their customizability. And Shopify is just so limited. Like I love Shopify. Shopify completely changed my life. And I still actually host all the orders inside of Shopify. But in this particular example, like this is just my philosophy for the best way to really win in e-commerce in 2024 and 2025 and beyond. Because again, if you're doing the same thing as everybody else, you're going to get the same thing that everybody else has, which is typically like pretty subpar results. It's people scaling to like, $500 a day, $1,000 a day, and like they're not even making any profit. right? They're just struggling to be profitable. That's always the one thing that people say about e-commerce, and it's exactly right. Like, most people aren't making any profit at all. But with this setup, you actually can. You can scale on cold traffic. You can acquire customers for the same cost, but make more money. And the cool thing about this, once again, is that nobody really talks about it. And so I don't really have any motivation for putting this video out there other than I'm just kind of tired of seeing like the same recycled advice from everybody on every single YouTube video. I mean, it's great that you've got this, this nice studio and you're like making these cool videos. But at the end of the day, the person you should listen to is the person that's actually doing this for a living, and the person that doesn't give a fuck. And that's and for the majority of cases, I am one of those people because I just live and breathe the game every single day. So the final note that I want to add here is that it's actually exactly what I just said. So like, if you really want to succeed in e-commerce, and I had this mindset from day one, you shouldn't be asking how long until I see results. Okay, you should not be asking that question, because from day one, you're getting into it with the wrong mindset. Your mindset, if you really want to change your fucking life, man, you have to go all in. You have to be obsessed. You have to be so dedicated. Because for me to learn this entire process, it took a long amount of time. Like, it's one thing to understand this conceptually. It's a whole nother thing to build this out yourself. And so, that's why I built this program with my partner, Alex Fedotov, called Brand Builders Academy, where we teach a lot of this stuff inside the program. And we can actually like help you and hold your hand step by step to set this up. So if you want to like apply for that, you can always just click that first link in the description. But this is really the setup, guys. This is how we scale our own stores from like $0 to $100,000 a day. It's not from this setup right here. This is like a big no-no for us. We're always trying to compete on marketing. We're trying to compete on funnel, and we're trying to compete on economics. That idea was first kind of brought to me by Alan Soltanich. Just like a legendary marketer in the space. But most ecom guys, they just simply don't know this, man. They don't follow this. They don't practice this. They just try to compete in the same way as everybody else using this method up here. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. If you want more content like this, just let me know. If you want to apply to work with me and my team and Alex Fedotov, where we can kind of show you all this step by step, hit the first link in the description. And other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video.